I think it will make the minority a very strong and vocal minority. Whether people like him or not, the strength and the weakness of the president is he is true. I'm just worried about the 20 peso rice. That 20 peso per kilo, I think, was a mistake.
Back to Pandesal Talks. Hello, Uncle
Yes.
Wilson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's yung episode natin online
Yes, yes.
because we have another topic na
Urgent.
urgent. Nangyari lang kahapon.
Parang hot pandesal fresh off the oven.
Ayun, okay. Perfect. All right. Sige, so I think what I want to do now is really talk about the SONA ni
Yes.
ni President BBM yesterday. So siguro
Yes.
I want to ask you the very first question, Uncle Wilson, right?
Yes.
For you, what is the relevance of the SONA, the State of the Nation address? Why does a president do this every year?
I think it is a very good way for the leader of a country to tell the whole Philippines the priorities for the coming year. It is to tell the people also how he sees the country economically, politically, socially. It's an assessment of what is happening in the Philippines today. And it is a great opportunity for a leader to announce his plans because the main audience, aside from the nationwide audience via TV, via media, the main audience was the joint session of Congress. The newly elected senators, the newly elected congressmen are all there. So it is his chance to tell them, these are my top priorities for the coming year. These are the laws that you have to push in Congress, in the Senate. For a leader, it is a great chance to boost the morale also of the people. If there are problems in the country, like what we had gone through, the typhoon, the floods, the political bickerings and all that, hopefully it is a chance for him to tell people, let us improve ourselves, let us have hope for the future.
Yeah, actually, what I like about it, Uncle Wilson, right, is parang it makes the president available to the people for at least one day.
Yes,
Diba? Kasi parang you never
at
see
least once a
him,
year.
diba? At
Parang
least once
report
a year.
card also. It's like a report card. These are the things I've done. These are the things I promise I will do. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I want to segue there, Uncle Wilson. One of the things that they mentioned, netizens mentioned, is that gusto nila how simple the SONA is yesterday, wherein BBM took almost like 75 minutes only. Tapos na siya. And it wasn't a lot about accomplishments, about what I did versus what they did, but a lot was actually next steps. Diba? So I
That
guess,
is
did
very
you also
unique.
realize that? Did you also feel that?
Yes, I noticed, in fairness to the president, unlike most politicians, not only in the Philippines, even abroad, in the US, even US president, they have this State of the Union address. In fairness, he had some moments during his speech where he acknowledged failures. At the start of his speech, he said he is listening to the people. He knows that his team was repudiated in the election despite all the advantages of being a ruling party, with all the resources, the media resources, his team, a lot of the superstars in his team lost the election. And surprisingly, the underdog opposition people got a lot of seats. So he acknowledged that people are fed up, are not satisfied with government performance. That to me is a positive sign. That to me is a source of hope. I hope even the critics of the president should hopefully be optimistic for the country na at least he knows it's not good.
Would you see this as a sign, Wilson, that President BBM, as compared to the other presidents, is a little bit more flexible? Is a little bit more, nakikinig talaga.
Hopefully, that's a good way to look at it. I hope, but many people tell me na they will judge based on the actions. Kasi most politicians are good at rhetoric and making speeches, but it is a good start to me. For me, the mere fact that he not only acknowledged dissatisfaction of the people on government performance, in the middle of the speech, he even highlighted one of the worst failures of government, the flood control projects. If you remember Lance last year, during his State of the Nation address, he mentioned thousands of flood control projects worth hundreds of billions of pesos accomplished now. And then 2 days later, most of Metro Manila and parts of Luzon drowned by horrible floods. So Thank you to President Bongbong Marcos yesterday for publicly castigating our politicians and officials and contractors for terrible, horrible failure in flood control. He articulated the frustrations and anger of many of the people here in the Philippines. Thank you for that honesty.
All right. So my next part, Wilson, I want to talk about this quote by CEO of WR Numero. Political analyst daw siya. Sabi niya, last year SONA projected medyo nationalist agenda. Nung binan natin yung Pogo, di ba, yung West Philippine Sea proclamations. But this year, it felt like, how can I help the public? Social welfare, di ba? Health, transportation, and whatnot, right? Do you agree with him? Or dapat sana may konting,
I
di
think
ba?
President Marcos is correct this year because foreign policy issues are not the main thing for the masses, for the middle class. For ordinary people, foreign policy issues are issues that diplomats, we trust the diplomats to take care of those. But the urgent priorities of the people are their stomachs. People want 3 meals a day, decent meals. People want good jobs. People want peace and order. People want affordable rentals and housing and transport. Even the Pogo issue, it's not really a foreign policy issue. It's very weird. It's very weird. Some of the media project it as anti-China triumph. Actually, the Chinese government, based on all the news reports I've read, have always hated Pogo. It's our politicians, our own government in the Philippines have allowed this controversial, illegal business, thinking that our politicians were very cynical. They say na the victims naman are the masses of China, the young people of China. We are not affected naman. So okay lang to welcome their criminals to the Philippines. But the Chinese government was very, very angry. Every time they meet our officers and officials, they want to ban Pogo. The way some people are spinning it, the stopping of Pogo is a slap on China daw. Actually, it's happy ang China sa stopping of Pogo. In fact, I'm worried what the SONA speech never mentioned is parang nakarma tayo, these politicians na allowed Pogo to come here. Now our local criminals, our local unethical business people have learned how to do Pogo. So now the victims are Filipino masses, young people, middle class. So we have now horrible spread of online gambling in the Philippines by Philippine companies victimizing the middle class, the ordinary people, the young people of the Philippines. To me, that is one issue the country, the government should address, hopefully. But on the issue you were mentioning, the most important issues for the people are jobs, the economy, peace and order, the price of rice, the welfare of our Filipino farmers, the welfare of our Filipino fishermen. Those are most important issues. About foreign policy, we trust our Filipino diplomats to handle foreign policy issues in a very good way.
Okay, actually, Wilson, ikaw yung unang naisip ko while listening to the song. I told myself, Wilson might be happy with the framing, with the tonality of BPM yesterday, di ba?
Better to focus on national issues, socio-economic issues of the Philippines, and not keep on quarreling with foreign countries. Even Donald Trump wants to befriend his number one economic rival, China. Even Donald Trump, beside President Bongbong Marcos, said in the White House, I don't mind you Philippines dealing with China because they, the US, want to deal with China also. In fact, it's all over the news. Donald Trump is eager to visit Beijing to have many, many deals with China. Why don't we also have many deals with China, with Russia, with all the countries in the world? Basta pag economy and business and trade, let us cooperate.
Wilson, I also want to ask your opinion. Of course, before
Yes.
the State of the Nation address happens, di ba? Maraming
Yes.
balita regarding the Senate leaders, right?
Yes.
And the House leaders
The
that were
election.
elected, right? So,
Yes.
bigyan ko lang ko ng recap. I think Cheese Escudero still is our Senate President. Tito
Yes.
Soto is our minority leader. Joel Villanueva is our majority leader. Any surprises there on your opinion?
Me,
Or,
I'm not surprised, Lance. I'm not surprised because Cheese Escudero has proven to be a very smart leader. Tito Soto was a good Senate president before, but Cheese Escudero is also equally good, wise, and he was able to get a coalition of different people from the majority people allied with Bongbong Marcos, people allied with the Duterte family, even the two senators of the Liberal Party, Bam Aquino, Kiko, Pangilinan, voted for Cheese Escudero. I think the advantage of Cheese is he is projecting himself as an independent Senate president. Because in the Philippine democracy, ever since before up to now, the Senate has been more independent than the lower house. So I was not surprised at all. I expected it. Of course, a little bit surprised that Tito Soto got too few votes. I thought Tito Soto would lose by a small margin. It was a very decisive victory for Chis Escudero, and I think it bolsters his credentials as a national leader, si Chis. Kasi the lower house, there seems to be no more opposition. There are a few opposition leaders, but they don't have the numbers, they don't have the voice. So from the lower house, you don't expect too much check and balance, except for a few fireworks rhetoric. But the Philippines, our democracy, we hopefully could expect true check and balance with an independent-minded Senate under Chis Escudero.
There's a simplification around the social media, Wilson, where they said, siguro nanalo si Cheese because of the delayed of the impeachment of Sara Duterte, which sort of allied him to, the pro-Duterte slate, right? What do you think?
Some people say that might be a factor. That might be a factor because the opposition led by the Duterte family have allied with Cheese. But in fairness to Cheese, he is known to be a good friend also of the First Lady and of the President. So it's hard to accuse him totally of being an oppositionist now. But maybe independent on issues, depends on the issues, I think. And based on the numbers, even the independent-minded people like Bam Aquino and Kiko sided with him. So I think that was a factor. I think that issue is a factor, the impeachment controversy.
Yep. Actually, regarding that Kiko and Bam, no, joining the majority slate, syempre maraming naging, hindi naman nagulat, but na-frustrate din because, ano yun, are you aligning yourself with admin when all this time, di ba, medyo opposition kayo. But then, some people say, if you don't do this, how can you influence the other people to pass the bill that you actually want them to, right? Do you agree with that strategy?
My comment on that, Lance, I think si Senator Tito Soto is more aligned with President Marcos. I think. So in this case, even though Kiko and Bam joined the majority in the Senate, the head of the majority in the Senate is more independent-minded in the eyes of many people than Tito Soto. I think many people consider Senator Tito Soto as more allied with President Bongbong Marcos. So in a way, for people criticizing Kiko and Bam, they should analyze that Bam Aquino and Kiko actually voted for the more independent-minded Senate President on issues. Kasi don't forget, Tito Soto ran under the slate of President Bongbong Marcos. So actually, no conflict should be no conflict. And I heard that Bam and Kiko they have so many plans for their committees.
Okay. Thank you, Wilson, for sharing your insight. Isa akong gusto kong itanong, nag-trending to kahapon, may mythical five daw, yung minority, right? And Wilson, I remember back then in our episode, you said you like Ping Lacson, right? And the credentials that he brings, right? What do you think of this mix for the minority?
I think it will make the minority a very strong and vocal minority. You have somebody like Senator Ping Lacson, who is known to be fearless and very principled leader. And based on his track record, Senator Ping Lacson has been consistently anti-pork barrel, which is a very unique stand for any politician in the country. Even some of the best senators and some of the best congressmen could not say no to pork barrel. I think Ping Lacson is the only one. So on anti-corruption and other check and balance, you can be sure Senator Ping is going to check on the Senate majority and on the President himself. Si Senator Lauren Legarda, in fairness to her, is a very smart and hardworking senator. So having Senator Legarda there in the minority is a big plus. she is very smart and
Marami
hardworking.
nagsabi, she was out of place daw.
Some people think yes, because usually in the past people consider Legarda as a pragmatic politician. So whoever is the president, usually she tends to be part of the majority. Surprisingly nga, she is now with the minority. I don't know why, maybe malakas talaga si Senator Tito Soto, the charisma or the pinagsamahan. Don't forget also, si Senator Subiri, the former Senate President, is also a very outstanding legislator. And of course, Tito Soto is a very smart and very experienced legislator. Last but not the least, my former Ateneo classmate, seated in front of me for 2 years in college, si Risa Ontiveros, is consistently vocal as an opposition leader. So you have 5 very outstanding senators in the minority. It will make the minority very exciting this time. Before, the minority was so quiet.
Oo nga, oo.
The last year and 2 years ago, I was surprised. The minority last year and before have the same stance as the President Bongbong Marcos. They were all ganging up against the Duterte family. To me, that was surprising. The minority before in the Senate and the leader of Malacanang all against Duterte. Wala masyadong, not too much check and balance on the government before. Now with Ping Lacson there and the others, there will be more check and balance. Good for Philippine democracy, check and balance.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, Wilson. Now, I wanna bring your attention doon naman sa House, no?
Yes.
So let me give you a recap.
Yes.
Sandro Marcos, 'di ba? Youngest House Majority Leader. So dami niyang kailangan gawin at a young age of 31 years old.
Yes.
'Di ba? And of course, yung minority leader natin, I think the one that was elected was Libanan, 'di ba? So,
Yes.
what's your thoughts there?
My thoughts is, do not forget, I think this Congressman Sandro Marcos is going to be the next generation national leader of the Marcos family. I think Sandro Marcos is going to be, they're grooming him to be a future leader of a national level in the future. Plus, don't forget, his first cousin, the governor of Ilocos Norte, the son of Jaime Marcos, I think the two of them are front runners among the Marcos family to be the future Marcos family national leaders. Parang they're laying the groundwork, giving them experience, exposure to become future national leaders of the Philippines. And I hope they do well. I hope they do well.
Sabi nga niya,
Better,
Wilson,
better than-
magre-resign daw siya agad pag hindi maganda yung performance. Magre-resign daw.
Sabi niya, if true, that would be very unique. I've talked to Sandro Marcos, the congressman. He is very articulate and smart.
Okay. All right. So now, I want to go to the meat of it, Wilson, right? Your
Yes.
top takeaways from the President's SONA. Ako,
Yes.
immediately sa akin, very interesting that, syempre, earlier you mentioned about the flood project, right?
Yes.
Ipapatingin niya daw yung last 3 years. All flood projects, whether done, in progress, or yung mga guni-guni lang, or yung mga ghost projects,
Yes.
di ba?
Yes,
Ipapahuli
I
daw niya,
congratulate,
no?
Lance,
Yeah.
I congratulate President Marcos for publicly criticizing the politicians in front of them. What to me was very funny and hilarious was yung mga pinapagalitan niya, the one he was castigating, they were clapping the loudest and they even gave the president a standing ovation. To me, that was surreal. SURREAL. It's like a comedy show to me. So it's a big test of the president's political will and sincerity because people judge not based on speeches, but people will judge based on track record. Will he really be able to punish those who are shameless in their corruption, in causing all these floods and all this infrastructure mess in the country? One more thing people want to see also is that they don't only target their political enemies. I hope President Bongbong Marcos will convict and punish also his political allies. The problem with the Philippines in politics before up to now, every time you have an enemy, the political enemy is the one who is corrupt, who is bad, criminal. I have to see yet our leaders convict their own allies. Corruption is a horrible problem in the country, especially, Lance, we have trillions of pesos of budget every year for them to steal. And unfortunately, we still have a lot of people who are poor. Even the middle class who are not, strictly speaking, poor, a lot of people are struggling. Uh, it's very not good yet, the economy. In the masses, the economy might be good in numbers, and GDP for the finance people, the bankers, the business tycoons. It's all good and fancy and nice. We have GDP growth, everything. But uh, in the grassroots level, among the middle class, among the working people, there are still many people going abroad every day, every year. We still have millions of people. We are like the in the Bible, the Jewish people spread out all over the world, uh, trying to earn a living. So I hope my takeaway is the anti-corruption declaration of President Marcos to me was a first. For 3 years, I have not seen him criticize corruption, raise that issue. So to me, that's good news. Finally, the president is speaking up, mentioning corruption as a major problem of the country. Number two, he announced a lot of freebies, free medical, free ganyan, free Wi-Fi. To me, that's all okay if we could afford it. I hope his fiscal officials, his finance officials are doing the numbers correctly, because we cannot be borrowing too much money every year and then have budget deficit and trade deficit every year, then giving away everything for free. We have to watch out for our budget and finances. One thing I missed the president mentioning was the trade tariff, the challenge of global protectionism. U.S., I think, did not treat President Bongbong Marcos and the Philippines fairly. We were not given a good deal with the trade tariff. I hope President Bongbong Marcos will renegotiate it. And I urge all the people in the public, the officials, business group, the media, we should help support the president by pressuring him, not praising him. If we all praise him that he has done a good job in the negotiation, then Trump will say, oh, the bad deal is okay with your people. But if we complain, we clamor, he will go back to Trump and say, look at the trouble you've caused me. You've caused me so much trouble. I was very good to you. I gave you all the bases in the Philippines for free. No rental. And then you give this lousy deal to me. 19% for the Philippines, 15% for the European Union. Can you imagine on the day, yesterday, on the day of the SONA of President Bongbong Marcos, the EU and USA announced 15% tariff for European exports to USA. Why the Europeans getting a better deal than the Philippines? I thought we were a special friend. So yun, my takeaway pa is, I think the president knows the shortcomings of his government. He is not telling everything he knows. I think he knows. And the good news is he declared that he knows people are not happy. So I think that is a good sign for changes sana. Hopefully, real, genuine reforms.
Actually, maganda nga yun, Wilson, because I think in one part that he mentioned, 6,000 daw na nahuli na high-value target sa mga
Yes.
nagagambling and sa mga drug operations. And starkingly, 100 doon, part of the government. Diba? So it just boils down to your point where he's really trying to crack on even his own, allies, diba? Na kung kurakot ka,
Yes. Agree with you, Lance. I think the president is too nice as a person. Whether people like him or not, the
Yeah.
strength and the weakness of the president is he is too nice. He is like Mr. Congeniality, always smiling, always being good to people. I think in the Philippines, we need a leader who gets angry and scolds people and will punish people who are mediocre or dishonest or talagang bumbling fools.
yeah. I think one of his biggest promises then yesterday was that lahat daw ng mga schools na wala pang Wi-Fi,
Yes.
bibigyan niya ng Wi-Fi at the end of the year. I just don't know if they can deliver
That
that.
is good news. Free Wi-Fi in all the public schools. But I also hope the president will ask the two telecom companies to bring down the Wi-Fi cost also. Because in the Philippines, we have a duopoly. Only two
Okay.
big giants competing. I heard our Wi-Fi cost is still higher than South Korea and China, and we should have faster Wi-Fi. That's good news. Also, the medical the PhilHealth expansion of services, that's all good news. I'm just worried about the 20 peso rice. I'm worried about it because I studied basic economics at Ateneo de Manila University. I'm worried about the economics of that. He promised to maintain the 20 pesos per kilo promise through expanded Kadiwa stores nationwide. And I read something like 100 to 100 billion pesos to be thrown into that subsidy. I'm just a little bit worried. I hope the government will just increase the support to Filipino farmers, modernize farming, help increase rice productivity instead of just throwing money through subsidies. I'm a little bit wary about, I don't know the details yet, but sana something should be done. That 20 peso per kilo, I think, was a mistake by the president during the campaign. It was an election campaign promise. Somebody taught him that. Pero it's like the galunggong promise of Cory Aquino. She promised cheaper galunggong, then it became very expensive. I hope he will not waste too much money on subsidies. I'm I'm okay with giving money to the poor, but too much subsidies, too much free money to the people who are not. I'm a little bit wary. Why don't we give subsidies to taxpayers, to the ordinary rank and file employees in the factories, people who pay taxes? Why don't we give subsidies to students who are in school? I'm just a little bit wary about too much ayuda.
Okay. Actually, sabi nga nila, the cost of per kilo talaga mga 40 to 45 pesos. So, I mean,
Yes.
how will
And
you
we
even
are
reach
still the
20?
number one importer of rice in the world. To me, that's worrisome because we need food security. More than just the price of rice, we in the Philippines need food security. That's the most important because if there's a global crisis in the world and suddenly Thailand, Vietnam, India could not export, or if they prohibit export of rice, even if you have a flood of cash and you cannot buy rice, what will we eat? That is food security. We should have ample supply. We cannot ignore the plight of Filipino farmers and sell their lands for golf courses and subdivisions. We should protect our Filipino farmers and fishermen, not only for the price, not 20 pesos or 30, whatever. Food security is very important for every country.